So how did we get here? That's a very good question. What you just see is a very standardized mixer for multi-track recording that has a cable running from the output into the input, so it self-oscillates, and we do that on 2 of the line-ins. And with that we just create this kind of crazy noise, and sometimes we hear it, it's very rhythmic, and that makes it super interesting for techno. So there's 2 ways to get a signal with a guitar through the Korg Monologue. The first one is you just take whatever kind of heavy object beside you, like I have done with the pedal here, and you just put it on the keys. Then it stays triggered and you can just play, and you don't have this phaser effect. I do have this analog delay on it, meaning this is what kind of gives this stutter. So this is method number 1. Method number 2 is, and we are trying to make this more experimental, we're just going to record whatever we want. Okay, so let's listen to this right now. Now we have the sequence running, and now we can also play to it, and it gives this stutter. So this is how a guitar sounds through the Korg Monologue, and yeah, it's kind of cool. However, it's really hard to get used to. And I think it's really hard to get used to the chaos, because it's a little bit like a pedal, but a pedal where most of the knobs just don't work. And that's a bummer. Like, it would be so nice if all of these like LFO effects would work and so on, but sadly they don't. However, I mean, yes, it's very experimental, and it can be used, and also of course you can use the synthesizer, and when you want to play live you just plug the guitar in and you play with the guitar. It's gonna work, and you don't need an amplifier for it. So it's like a shortcut. So the next thing is going to be running the microkorg through the monologue. And I have no idea how this is going to go, so maybe we actually put it into, I don't really know. Okay, so we're just gonna start the sequence, or we're gonna put this back here. Okay. So the conclusion is you can use the effects of the monologue with the sounds of the microkorg, and that can actually be really cool and strange, and you can make this multi-layering that is not so easy to do with just one synthesizer, especially because the Monologue has this pitch knob, and yeah, so it's really cool and strange. It doesn't really change it. It feels a little bit muddy. It feels not so clean, the signal going into the Korg Monologue. So what I'm trying to do now is probably put it into headphones here and then try it again. So the outcome of this is very extreme and very noisy, very far over the point of control ability for music making. However, really cool stuff. I think there's a lot to experiment with that, but that takes way more time than we can have in this video. And so, let's try the next thing. So the next thing is going to be no input mixing running into the Korg Monologue, and no input mixing is a way of making sounds with a mixer without having any source from an oscillator. So if you want to see the set, there is partially the set on my website where you can just watch it for free. And if you really want to see the full thing, then you can watch that via Patreon, also via my website. It's a really cool set, really proud of this, and I hope I can play this live at some point at some really cool venue. However, normally this needs to be warned about. This creates very high amplitudes, meaning you have to be very careful when it comes to using it. Otherwise you blow out your speakers, or maybe you destroy your eardrums. This is very experimental, and what it creates is pretty neat. So I have this mixer here. I have it here on the phones running into the input, and so what we're just going to do now is we're gonna take the pedal, we're gonna put it on here. So this is no input mixing running into the Korg Monologue. And the cool thing is that you can control the no input mixing with the cutoff filter of the Korg Monologue. So you have a little bit of a self-oscillating circuitry also with the pedal. Yeah, that can be super useful to give this kind of underlayer that you work upon, especially for more experimental sounding music. So let's try out the next thing. I don't really know what it is. Can you guess it? So the next thing we are going to try a microphone. And you can do some using the Monologue as the kind of controller that you can have effects. Because this is like the master output on a voice, like any kind of pedal, which is fun. However, it's not easy to showcase. We can try it a little bit, but my mask is in the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let's make it louder. Hello? Louder. Louder. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, so you can kind of guess all kinds of things you can do with that. Can even make a kick drum. Not so well though. Kinda. Okay, let's try the next thing. And I'm not sure. I think I want to try to run some drums through it and filter them with the filter. And maybe also the pedal. I think we have tried that already. But I'm gonna try it out. The next thing is going to be the DSR 500 running into the Monologue. And why I want to do this? I want to do this because of the drums and what I can get kind of experimental drums out of this. So let's just try to start some kind of drum thing. Yeah, this didn't go as planned. A bummer, but what can you do about it? Oh, I'm actually really dumb. Oh no. I did use the microphone and I plugged in the microphone. Oh my gosh, cable mess. Really cool, really cool. So you can even use the Monologue a little bit as a centerpiece where you can run stuff into and can control it over the Korg Monologue. And yeah, this was great. I enjoyed this so much. Really, it's one of the best videos I made in my opinion. Really sick. So much room for more experimentation. I really enjoy that. And this is why I'm also glad there are these features. And I think they are on the microkorg and on the microkorg as well. So videos of that coming soon. Have a good day and I wish you all the best using your gear, using your synthesizers, using your instruments, your guitars. This is the Synth channel where we talk about weird music production and synthesizers. Tune in the next time where we talk about probably, I'm not sure, another synthesizer maybe about some amplifier with a synthesizer from 1982. Let's see what we come up with. And I'm out. Thank you. Bye bye.